All right, we're gonna work on the Willys here today. I've been neglecting it for almost a couple years. Hasn't been running right. So we're gonna start by washing off the guano. We have bats in our shop here. We're gonna wash it, get it all cleaned up and pretty, and then we're gonna start working on it, figure out why it's not running right. I think it's because we're running non-ethanol fuel and let it sit over the winter, but we're gonna figure it out. So we're gonna get this thing cleaned up.
Why is there a plate in here?
That's a good question. Apparently somebody thought that bucket was for washing dishes when we left it in the sink. That's weird. Oh well. Just set it to the side.
Alright.
So if you haven't watched our other videos, this is our 1962 Willys Pickup, which is actually pronounced Willis, but around here most people know it as Willys. It's all original except for the PTO winch and bumper. That's the one thing I added. I still have the original bumper and splash pan, but this was the look I was going for and wanted mainly to match the Willys Pickup that my grandfather had in the 50s and 60s, which is also in another video on my YouTube channel. There's some original hunting movies from the late 1950s. It's a little rainy and drizzly out, so we're not going to do a perfect job. Just want to get it somewhat clean.
Get all the mouse poop off.
So she doesn't look as neglected. Get all the guano off of it. We're running buckshot tires on this. They're old buckshots that had studs when I bought them. I'm gonna pull her in the shop, open up the hood, and see what we can't figure out here.
As you can hear, it's not running very well.
And this is the power plant. A 226 Super Hurricane 6-cylinder. It's been about 10 years or so since the engine rebuild. It's part of the rust is starting to come back through. The head was really rusty before we rebuilt it, so I knew it was gonna come back And then we converted the oil bath air cleaner into a paper element, but still has the look of the oil bath air cleaner. All right, well, we're gonna get to work. Probably start out with getting some fuel, some of the old fuel out of the tank, replacing the fuel filter, pulling the spark plugs. I'm pretty sure they're going to be fouled, but we'll take a look at those and see if we can't get this thing running better than it is. All right, let's go. All right, we're gonna unhook this fuel line and try to get some of this old fuel out of here. Anytime you're working with fuel lines, the goal is to not get yourself covered in fuel. Oh, it splashed me a little. Just didn't take a shower in it. Okay, and then Anderson, I'm gonna have you go in and crank the key over some, and then we'll see if we can get some fuel out of the tank. Okay, Anderson, why don't you go ahead and pull that first plug wire. Okay, take the plug off. Take the plug out, I should say. Careful there, buddy. You don't know your own strength.
Is it out?
Okay, now you're going to want to take this, take the extension. Oh, there you go. You got it. We can get it with your fingers. Okay, go ahead. There you go. Good job.
Well, that doesn't look good.
Let's take a look at it. Yeah, that is a very fouled plug.
Yeah, really black.
Yep, it could have something to do with that not so good fuel that's in there. There's something floating in the bottom of the container there, but I think it fell in while we're doing this. It wasn't in the fuel line, I don't think. All right, actually, I think we're gonna, at this point, make a trip to town to get some plugs for it. So we can do one plug at a time instead of pulling them all. And we'll continue to let the battery charge and see if we can't get it running better than it is. Get rid of all that old fuel. And I'm really not wanting to drop the fuel tank to totally empty it, because if you've ever done that, you know what that's like. It's just no fun. It's not horrible in this vehicle, but still just no fun. All right, well, I think we might take a trip to town. All right, here we're all at Walmart, and what do you know? They've got 295s. The two other auto parts stores in town did not. And they just have this small selection, and they've got plenty at a decent price at $1.78 there. We're gonna grab 6 of them. There we go. All right, let's roll. Well, we decided to remove all the plugs and do a compression test while we're at it, since I don't know that I ever did one after I rebuilt the motor. So just to confirm where we're at with compression, make sure there isn't an issue there. I decided to do that, and in the process, of course, one of the plug wires came apart, which happens sometimes no matter how careful you are. So I'm gonna see if I can try to fix this thing and put her back together, because I don't want to buy a new one. Well, with pair of pliers, I was able to get that in crimped back on, so hopefully that'll work. And we're gonna get going on a compression test here shortly. Okay, compression test time. Okay, go ahead, Anderson. Okay, stop. So we got 120 for compression on number 1 cylinder. Okay, let's do number 2. Okay, go. Yep. Again. Stop. Okay, we got a 118. So I better write that down. 120. Let's see. 90. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 118. 110. I say, okay. Okay, number 3. Okay, go. Keep going. One more time. Again. Keep going. Stop. Oh, that's a concern. We're at 90 on that cylinder. Okay, let's see. Okay, now we're at number 4. Okay, go. Yep. Okay, good. 120 on number 4. Okay, number 5, go. Stop. Okay. Okay, and that's well, like 115 on number 5. We'll do number 3 at one point, but that is not looking good for number 3. Okay, this is number 6. Okay, hang on. Okay, go. Stop. And that's about 115. Okay, we're going to try number 3 again. Okay, go. Okay, stop. I got a lower number there. I'm going to charge the battery, I think, and try her again on number 3. Okay, we're going to try number 3 again. Let's see. Okay, go. Yeah, we're just at 90. That's no good. So compression on number 3 is not in good shape. And granted, it would be best if I used a thread-in compression gauge, but this is what I have, and I think I'm getting a decent enough seal to get a pretty good idea. For comparison, I wanted to show the fuel that came out of this tank and fresh fuel. So on the right is the fuel that came out of the tank, and on the left is non-ethanol fresh fuel. So quite a difference in the color. It's not horrible, the old gas, but it's definitely not good. So that's going to make a big difference. I'm going to hold off on emptying the tank for now. We got it really low, and hoping that mixing some fresh gas in there and running it a bit will cycle it through, and we'll change the fuel filter also after we run it for a bit. Yeah, we're just gonna focus on new plugs and good fuel and see if we can't get it running decent enough and address the low compression cylinder at a later time. All right, we're putting new plugs back in. Oh shoot, I just remembered. Hey, Anderson, let's pull that one out. Remember, that's number 3. We're gonna put an old plug in there. Okay, so yeah, put that in number 4. I'm gonna grab one of our old plugs here. That'll be number 3. So just remember that.
It's getting tight real soon.
So that's, you gotta make sure you don't cross thread it. Just gotta whip it a tiny bit when you're putting it in. Let me help you. You got it? Nope. Here.
No, it's not one. I'll grab another one.
There you go.
For these now?
And these have really short threads on them, so they do get tight pretty quick.
Yeah, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, get these last spark plugs tightened up. These back ones are tough to get to. Oh, and there it goes. We got it. And this one right behind the distributor, I think, is easier to put the socket on first and then the ratchet. All right, now plug wires. I think we put numbers on them, so I just firing order is not hard to do on this one, but it's just makes it easier.
It's raining pretty hard right now.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Okay, number 1, number 2. And make sure that metal clip snaps on. Number 3, or not great cylinder. Number 2. Or sorry, number 4 we're on here.
Number 1,
That's
number 2,
5. Yeah, hold on.
number 3, number 4. And then back there, he's working on number 5 and 6.
Number 6 is the one I pulled off because we pulled the clip off. Checking to make sure they're all on there good and tight. Let's see. Isn't that a German word? Good and tight? Maybe not. Anyway.
I don't speak German.
Okay, so, what next, Anderson?
Isn't that it?
No, I gotta put the wires back on the coil. Coil wire. Probably take this darn rubber glove off since that was just for the fuel we're working with.
Huh?
And years ago, it may have even been before I rebuilt the engine, I put Pertronix's electronic ignition module in this, and that was one of the best purchases I ever made. It's a vehicle that sits in as much as this does, and in a relatively damp climate, the points just weren't lasting. I'm also told that points these days aren't necessarily as good a quality as they once were. Regardless, it's have had a lot less issues in starting this throughout the year.
We're gonna start it up. Hopefully it runs good. Come on. Come on. Oh. It was moving.
I guess we're putting the charger back on.
Yeah.
Okay, gonna hook the old trusty Harbor Freight Chicago Electric charger back up. This battery is in desperate need of replacement. I just haven't got around to it.
The battery's been plugged in ever since we started this project.
Been wanting to put one of those ACG or AGC, whatever they are, AGM glass mat batteries that that doesn't have liquid in it, doesn't leak, but just haven't got around to it, and they're rather expensive. This battery is the first battery I put in it, probably 14 years ago or so, close to that. So it's an old battery. It needs replaced. All right, well, I'm just gonna put it on start mode and see if that gets her going.
Here she goes. We just need to let her charge and then she'll be ready to drive.
Sounds better. All right, so I'm gonna pull it out. We can rinse off the fuel we spilled there.
Catching back up.
Still cold, so it's hard to tell if it's running a lot better. But it definitely is idling better. Sure, it's idling better. I say that now. Still not great. As you can see, she's smoking. But we did put oil in number 3 cylinder. So it's gonna take some time to play around with it and see what else it still needs other than that issue with low compression in number 3. All right, well, I think we're just gonna wrap it up for today. We've made some progress. She's still not running great, but at least we're on our way to figuring out what the problem may be and getting some good fuel in there, getting some bad fuel out. So we'll have a video in the near future, hopefully, continuing to get her running top notch again.